Hello there, it's Cassie. Welcome back again for the second time today. I am over on the Brutus Monroe blog, and I have this card using this brand new stamp set called Christopher's Shoes. And if you follow Christopher, the owner of Brutus Monroe, at all, you know he loves his Chucks. And honestly, I love my Chucks too. I have about 2 or 3 pair, and I love them. There's one pair that I wear more than the others. I feel like I have like more of a dressy pair, and then I have my everyday Chucks. But yeah, in our family we love our Chucks. My kids love them. Actually, I don't think my husband has a pair, but we may have to change that. Anyway, so I just have a piece of black cardstock that I have used my magic embossing bag all over because I plan to do some embossing, and I am inking up Christopher's Shoes with the embossing ink, and this is from Brutus Monroe as well, and I'm just stamping that randomly all over that background. Now don't worry that the magic and powder bag has this, like, you know, it looks like a finish all over that. That'll rub away later. But I'm going to cover this with some Alabaster embossing powder. And if the magic powder bag did its job, which it did, I won't have any stray embossing powder anywhere. Now you can tell that I didn't do a great job of stamping that one shoe there on the right hand side, but I'm going to fix that. I'm going to cover it up because I thought, well, I hate wasting paper, honestly, so I didn't want to start over. And so I'll just fix it. So I'm cleaning up my mess here, and then I'm going to grab my heat tool and I will heat set this embossing powder until it is just smooth and melted. You don't want to do too much because then you'll just cause that embossing powder to look kind of dull. And we want it to be shiny. We want it to be smooth and melted and shiny. So just going to heat that till that is about there. So now I'm grabbing some Aqua pigment paper, and I'm going to stamp Christopher's Shoes one more time, but this time I'm using some Raven ink. This is Raven Detail ink, and this is a waterproof ink. This is great if you want to do some watercoloring, which I am going to do. I have some the Aqua pigment colors, and the first one I have is Pearl. So it's not really a white, it's because I'm painting it here using my Escoda #2 watercolor brush, and I'm gonna paint up the soles, and you can see if you move it in the light, it'll definitely look kind of white and silvery, but just to kind of have it sit there, you can't really tell too much. And I'll just keep painting all of those soles and the shoelaces, and I just wanted this really cool background. I actually want a pair of black Chucks now. After painting these shoes, I now want some black ones. My favorite ones are the white ones that I have. Those are like my everyday ones, and I have a dressier pair, like I said, but now I want some black ones. And it was, so we used to live in El Paso, and I loved the fact that they had a Converse outlet right there, and it was fantastic. So the outlets in El Paso are awesome, but they are like true outlet stores. If you're an outlet shopper, make your way to El Paso sometime, and love on the people there because those people are fantastic as well, and head to their outlet mall because it's awesome as well. That entire town is just awesome. I can't say enough about it. Kind of miss living there. Not kind of, I do miss living there. So there it is. They're all painted up and ready to go. And now I'm going to paint the other shoes that were on the white. And if I had been thinking, I would have put the black into a separate well and just maybe grabbed some of that pearl, because it looks black there in the well, but as I'm painting, it looks more like a silver blue, which is actually really cool. But I actually wanted to have black Chucks is what I wanted. I wanted to have like a shimmery black Chuck. But I put just a little bit of that black Aqua pigment in there instead of maybe setting it off to the side and just grabbing some of the pearl. The pearl definitely lightened it up a bit. And these, like I said, would be really cool looking shoes to have like that, but I did want black. But I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with it. And so I'll finish painting that up, and then I'm going to hit that with my heat tool. But look at that. That's nice and shimmery and cool. Love how those look. And then I'm going to take some of that leftover and just splatter that all over the background because I kind of hate wasting it. And that I'm using my Waffle Flower Media Mat. That thing's awesome for watercoloring. And then again, like I said, I will heat set those and get those ready to go. I have a white card base. It's just a heavyweight card base. And I'm going to use some 1/8 inch Scor-Tape all over the back of my card panel, the black panel that I have here. And I'm using an excessive amount, really. You wouldn't need this much, but I want to put my panel kind of wonky, and because I want it to be a little bit wonky, I want to make sure that I have good coverage all over so that the places that are hanging off aren't going to really make that much of a difference, because I will trim some of this away. So I'm peeling off all the backing paper, throwing that away, and then I'll grab my card base, and this is what I'm talking about, wanting it to be a little bit wonky. And when I'm happy, I'll just push that down. And then I am going to take my scissors and I'll just trim off all of the excess. And then you can have a very easily made card that's just a little bit different than the normal like I usually make. I'm grabbing another piece of cardstock. This is just some white cardstock that I have. I think it's some Nina cardstock. I'm going to stick that into my MISTI, and I'm going to ink that up with that Raven Detail ink. And I love the sentiment. I think it's so cool. One step at a time. Pretty good lessons for life. One step at a time. And then when I'm happy with how that's stamped out, I'm going to trim that out. And I apologize. Sometimes I have explained this before. When I start fussy cutting, which I fussy cut the shoes out as well, as you can tell, I kind of start and I'm not paying attention to where the camera is. But when I'm fussy cutting, I am usually just keeping my scissors where they are and I'm moving the paper around where my scissors would be. So that way, it's just easier that way. I'm going to grab some foam tape for some added dimension, which is just the Scotch foam tape that I have. I finally ordered another roll. Very happy about that, because, you know, when it gets down to the minimum, you know, this little bit that I have left, you start to get panicky. You're like, I want dimension, but I'm scared. I don't want to run out. And so I finally ordered some more, and that showed up yesterday. And then I'll take those last little bits that I have, and I'll cover up this other pair of shoes that I have. One last bit for good measure. And then we will move on to peeling off all that backing paper and starting to set up this. But this is what I was talking about. You know, you might feel like you have a film from the magic embossing bag, but you can rub that off with your fingers and everything's good and dry, which it was, so I rubbed it off there. And now I'll put down my sentiment, peel off the backing paper on my shoes, and I'll put those down too, and that's going to finish off this card. So head on over to the blog. I'll have it linked down below. You can check out what we've been doing and maybe even check out the store while you're there. And if you liked this video, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, guys, thank you so much for stopping by.